Alabama's gone from big shot Bob to sweet shot Sears. And now for the first time in program history, they're rolling into the Final Four. Danny Green, Jason Fitz, Yahoo Sports. I'll stop being cheesy now at this point. Danny, let's give all the flowers right out of the gate to Mark Sears, who was absolutely incredible. And in the second half, wildly hot from three. I just felt like everything he threw up was going in.
Yeah, they shot extremely well from three. I said I give a lot of credit to Clemson for staying close, for being outshot from three, outshot from the field, out rebounded, and not making their free throws. And they still only lost by 7. But if they made their free throws, this would have been a game. But not only him shooting 7-14 from three, but the rest of their team, they shot 16 from 36 from three, 44%. I think even before that, it was even higher. So they shot extremely well from the perimeter. And I wish Grant Nelson had a game like he had tonight against my Heels. We might have had a chance. But, Clemson did a good job of going attacking him and kind of keeping him quiet on the offensive end.
But I think it's interesting because I asked you the other night, what do you do when you're missing everything? And early on in the game, Alabama was missing everything, but they shot their way through it. And to their credit, in the second half, I think a theme we saw in both of the games over the course of the day was that you've got teams in the second half that came out and sort of righted some of the wrongs. Alabama came out in the second half just on fire, and they went from not being able to hit anything to being able to hit everything. It speaks to what you talked about, where sometimes you just got to know that line, right? In remaining consistent in your approach and just continuing to throw up the shots.
Well, tonight's games were the tale of two halves, right? The first halves looked really good, especially for that first game. It was tight with UConn. They just exploded. Alabama got extremely hot, hit a bunch of threes. It was a moment they were kind of going back to back a little bit, but then they opened it up, went up 10, and from there they just never looked back. And Clemson said they fought, they kept crawling and fighting and clawing back. They just couldn't make the free throws to get them over the edge. They made the stops they needed to make. They just couldn't, execute the way they needed to in order to be in the game.
But so far in the process of covering the tournament for Yahoo, I feel like we've been screaming, make your free throws over and over. Now, it's one thing for me, 5'9" little guy sitting in front of a microphone just saying it, screaming, but you played, man. And so, like, when you see somebody and you see that basic tenet, like free throws feel like they should be the easiest thing in the world. And in this moment, you got to believe that late in the game, particularly when it was a 5-6 point game, those free throws misses loomed large for Clemson.
2 in a row. They were down 5, missed 2 in a row. They missed 8 for the game. They only lost by 7. So imagine, even if you hit half of those, it's a closer game where the team might make mistakes. They might turn it over. It puts you in the game. But to miss 8 free throws, go 8 for 16, that's 50%. That's pretty bad. 50% in our game is really bad as a free throw shooter. As a team, you can't do that in this tournament.
It's amazing to me to think about the success that we associate with Alabama athletics and to realize that this is the first time that they're making a trip to the Final Four. It speaks to the investment that the program has made in coaching facilities and recruiting, all of these things. It speaks to the investment the SEC has made. And now, all of a sudden, Alabama gets the opportunity to return to a stadium where they played for a national championship in football, but this time they'll be doing it on the hard court, and it will be can't miss.